corporate overlords need to make maximum profits. Oh, it never ends well for women. Men won't forgive you doing this stuff. What channel is this?
All right, guys.
Oh, there's a part 3. What channel is this? What channel? Reporter. Okay. Someone please clip the horn sound. Find me the horn sound, please. Oh my God, let's go. We're going to part 3.
I had to hop on here with a hot take. I'm sorry if some of you women hate me after this, but here we go. Let's do it. So I just got married about a month ago, and now I keep getting asked when I'm thinking babies are going to come. And I keep replying that babies will come once we are financially stable enough to be a stay-at-home mom. That is literally the reply that I'm getting from everyone. Everyone gasps. Can you believe that in today's society, it is like crazy and awful to want to be a stay-at-home mom and to raise your children? In the great words of Ben Shapiro, I do not understand for the life of me why we are telling women that their best and greatest superpower of creating human beings from their own body is less important than working.
Because your corporate overlords need to make maximum profits so they can buy more yachts and private jets and enjoy their lives in gated communities with big walls away from you, the pleb, who's dumb enough to fall for the trap and the idea that a job for someone who doesn't even know who the you are brings you more joy than your own children. You idiot.
Personally, I don't think work is more important than raising the future generation of the children that you brought into this world from your own body and to bring them up into society. I'm not saying that you can't choose whether or not you want to work or be a stay-at-home mom. If you want to work while being a mom, all the power to you. However, what I am saying is do not belittle the women that want to be a stay-at-home mom. This is what I hate about modern day radical feminism. If you are going to indoctrinate women into believing that work is more important than spending time with their own children, I don't understand. Can someone please explain that to me? What I will say is that there is not one single person that has been on their deathbed and said, I wish I worked another day in my life. In fact, majority of people say that they wish that they spent more time with their family and the ones that they loved. Sorry if you guys hate me now after this. I guess you can say I'm anti-feminism, I'm anti-feminist, but I am pro-woman, so sorry if you hate me.
How Feminism Fails Women, Part 2. I've seen feminism be extremely disingenuous when talking about women's issues. They say that we don't have the same rights as men. I would like to hear one right that women don't have that men do. People will often bring up the wage gap, and yes, the wage gap is true to an extent. Overall, women make less than men in America. It is not because of some massive conspiracy that the patriarchy is scheming behind our backs. When all studies are taken into account, women are shown to make about 99 cents to the man's dollar. And that is within the margin of error. A few of the factors that I'm referencing are that women don't demand raises as frequently. Women tend to work less hours. Women go into different fields than men that tend to pay less. And then people will say to me, it's the patriarchy that's causing women to go into these fields. Have you ever just thought that men and women have different interests? Women tend to be a lot more nurturing and caring, which is why a lot more women go into things like teaching. Women are more creative and are better communicators than men, which is why we go into fields like advertising or communication.
Stop the cap.
Men are better at analytical things, which is why there's more engineers. And that's not the patriarchy, that is human nature.
Why feminism is toxic for relationships. Reason number 1. Feminism tries to convince you that everything you love about men is toxic. And so you go through the world suppressing your natural attraction to a man who is a leader, who is strong, who is confident, who is assertive. And you go for males that are very feminine. Then when you get drunk, you look for the first asshole who also has the masculine qualities, but is a really great idiot. And because you're so deprived of these qualities in your life, of the masculine energy, you just jump on him like he's a drug for you. And then the next day you just feel.
And I'm going to get hate for this, but this is just my opinion. There's no right or wrong answer, just my opinion. My man works very hard. When he comes home from work, I want him to have nothing to do at home. He should just relax. The house is clean, dinner is cooked, the kids are getting ready for bed. And then he gets to come home and spend quality time with his kids, rather than worrying about what kind of chores need to be done. Of course, he still takes the trash out, and he does things when I ask, but I really just don't like to ask because he should come home and relax.
I regret being a slut. I'm grateful for the ability to control my reproductive cycle and make my own money. But that freedom has come at a price. The dark side of the sexual revolution is that even though it liberated women, unyoking sex from the consequences has primarily benefited men. But if I'm honest with myself, of the dozens of men I've been with, at least the ones I remember, I can only think of a handful I don't regret. The rest I would put in the category of casual, which I would define as sex that is either meaningless or mediocre or both. If I get really honest with myself, I'd say most of these usually drunken encounters left me feeling empty and demoralized and worthless. I wouldn't have said that at the time, though. At the time, I would have told you I was liberated, even while I tried to drink away the sick feeling of rejection while my most recent hookup didn't call me back. At the time, I would have said one-night stands made me feel emboldened. But in reality, I was using sex like a drug, trying unsuccessfully to fill a hole inside me with men. Pun intended. I know regretting most of my sexual encounters is not something a sex-positive feminist who used to write a column for Playboy is supposed to admit. And for years, I didn't. Let me be clear. Being a slut and sleeping with a lot of men.
Jesus. Regrets. Hit home deep. Jacob, thanks. Been working as a software engineer for 12 years. Only met one female developer from India. She was very talented, but was kind of like a unicorn in the field. Keyword unicorn in the field, not an actual one. Ugh. Post-wall regrets.
Men is not the only behavior I regret. Even more damaging was what I told myself in order to justify the fact that I was disposable to these men. I told myself I didn't care. I didn't care when a man ghosted me. Ugh.
Do you guys know if the letter she's reading is her or she's feeling emotional for the woman that wrote to her? Who here has seen this full video and knows? What is it? What is that letter? She wrote it. Okay, it's her. Ooh-wee. Sex-positive feminist.
Stop the cap.
What the heck? I didn't care when he left in the middle of the night or hinted that he wanted me to leave. The walks of shame, the blackouts, the anxiety. The lie I told myself for decades was, I'm not in pain, I'm empowered. I knew it would be hard to read this. I lost my virginity at 17 to my boss at a restaurant where I worked. And a year later, I experienced my first sexual trauma. I felt damaged and dirty, and I blame myself. Everyone responds differently to these situations. I dealt with the overwhelming shame by becoming hypersexual and promiscuous. The culture was right there to pick me up and dust me off. I doubled down on being a proud slut and internalized the biggest and most damaging lie, that loveless sex is empowering. I basked in the girl power glow of that delusion for decades, weaponizing my sexuality while convincing myself I was full of the divine feminine. I was full of shit. I told myself that because I could seduce a man, I was powerful. But as Perry says in her book, women can all too easily fail to recognize that being desired is not the same thing as being held in high esteem. Deep down inside, I knew that to be the case. But as a defense mechanism, I created a man-eater persona.
Man-eater, you mean cock gobbler persona.
Emotional damage.
Oh, it never ends well for women. You can't play the game like a man. Here you go. Sucks. She had to go through this. At least she's out in the open, showing women what they're going to feel like. Exactly.
My mantras were rigid. You can either have a career or a relationship, but you can't have both. Intimacy is creepy. Motherhood and children are a trap. Sex is only about power. Another set of lies built on trauma. When a man I slept with had the courtesy to reach out, I mistook relief for happiness, rewiring my brain to be grateful for the bare minimum. The saddest realization is how low I set the bar. A lifetime of allowing myself to be the other woman, taken for granted or treated like a doormat under the false pretense of being empowered, came to head one night with the arrival of a text message from an on-again, off-again lover. "Good night, baby. I love you," it said, quickly followed by "wrong person." Rock bottom.
Ooh. That one was rock bottom. Imagine getting a good night, baby. I love you. Oops. Sorry. Wrong person. Oh my God.
Bruh. Emotional damage.
Oh no. Tali, thanks, brother. Root cause is the $1 million question. Wow.
Doesn't always look like losing everything or ending up in jail. I wanted to be able to have meaningless sex like a guy, but it didn't work. Today's youth are fed an even more dangerous lie than the one that was fed about loveless sex. I was told sex doesn't matter. They're being told biology doesn't matter. This is a tragedy. I regret being a slut. I regret it because I regret that those men can say they slept with me. If Gen X women in particular really relate to this, and it's like they're stumbling back from a war being like, go back. It was a lie. It's a trap. It just seems like women who have been sold this kind of millennials too, in particular, the like people who grew up with Sex in the City and this idea that we can just have sex with men consequence free and that it doesn't somehow damage our soul. A lot of women have said that they identify with this. The problem with so much of this stuff is that you keep doing damage to yourself. At least I did.
At least she's being real. I like that she's talking about it because a lot of women that go through this sort of behavior and have this emotional damage keep quiet. Most of them will cope and double down on the lifestyle and say, in the end, this is all worth it. I could never be a homemaker and have kids and have a man leeching off my life force in a marriage. At least she's talking about how she got set up to believe all this stuff. All the streams will be on Locals, guys. You can head over there right now. This conversation, women will only listen to other women about it. That's the truth. So she's doing far more to repair this BS than we could ever on this side of the aisle. It's going to take women telling other women what they should be doing for them to actually listen.
In my attempt to keep proving to myself that sex was empowering, that I could have sex like a man, I kept damaging myself, damaging my spirit and soul in ways that I didn't really fully comprehend at the time. I was too young and I was too high or drunk in many instances. And you can see when I read the piece, it's still painful because I wish I knew better. And I guess part of the reason that I wrote this piece is for my daughter. I want her to know better. And for all the young women out there, you don't have to play that game. If you feel in your heart, like, I don't think I can have sex with someone and not get attached and I don't know the person and I feel like it's very intimate. You're right. That's true.
This is good. It's good that this conversation's happening. Women need to stumble upon this because they're being sold in the mainstream that it's empowering hypersexualization. It's great. Sleeping around makes you a strong queen. You don't need a man for anything. And a lot of them never hear this side of the story. This side of the story barely's coming out. We have dissenters from the mainstream. You're seeing them here. This is a dissenter. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to tell her, oh my God, she's the internalized misogyny. Or your experience doesn't mean it's everyone's experience. You had a bad experience. No. This is quite a few women's experience. They're just silent and doubling down on the BS. You got to sell yourself on the wrong direction you chose in life. And unfortunately, men won't forgive you doing this stuff. That's the truth. There's no other way. Like your actions, you're going to be accountable for them one way or another. When a man finds out this sort of information, how promiscuous you were, they can't look back. Like a man has to take your hand in marriage, has to ask you. And if he finds out all this stuff, he's probably dipping. It's unfortunate, but that's part of the pain. Not just the letting any man have your body, but the fact that the repercussions are you probably don't have a man currently and will never have a great man because of your sexual past. That's where the hurt really lies.
Whose stupid idea was it to start putting things out about we don't need men? Listen, let me get up close and personal with people right now. We need men to exist as women. Let me break it down. A man is the only one who can activate the woman's true femininity. And any woman that tells me otherwise, I'm just sorry. I'm not here to listen to anyone's lies. I'm a very straightforward, honest person. And I take accountability to being a woman. And a part of us being a woman is accepting that the man is the one and the only one that can activate this chemical in our brain that kicks off when he's around, which is to be completely feminine, vulnerable, beautiful, and obedient and submissive. Only the man. What you'll find is when you cannot accept this, it's because you're being like a man.
Oof.
The man is the only one that can make you feel like a woman. So don't sit there and lie, please, anyone. I don't want to offend anyone, but unfortunately, the truth hurts. Okay? Perfect. The man is the only one that can activate the true femininity in a woman. Okay?
I just want to know why guys call girls females. Like, this is a serious question.
Cause ain't this what the y'all is? And if I call you a bitch.
Exactly, man. Why y'all got a problem with the word female? When y'all call us males, you don't see us getting angry and punching walls and shit. I can see y'all having a problem with bitch. But female though? You, female, me, male.